Okay, so I just got my lease renewal, so I'm about to find out how much it's gonna be. Let's do this together, you guys.
The next day.
Okay, this video is gonna be an update, kind of like a part 2 of my honest, unedited life update when living in New York City. So if you guys haven't checked out that one, pause this one and click the card over here. We're doing it in the bathroom because last time you guys really liked it in the bathroom for some reason. Okay, so in the last video, I talked about how my rent was gonna go up soon because my rent is going to be renewed. I got the email. So if you guys saw the clips in the beginning, I was like not mentally well. Like I clocked in a mental breakdown into my calendar. I just don't know what I'm gonna do. And that's why I also missed an upload because I was not okay. But anyways, a day has gone by. I also went to therapy. Please go to therapy. This video is not gonna be sponsored for therapy. But therapy really helps. And also writing a pros and cons list, which I'm gonna go over with you guys, really did help with my decision making. So yes, my rent went up 50%. So I'm sure you guys have been seeing videos on TikTok where it's like people's rent are going up crazy amounts. That happened to me. My neighbor texted me basically and was like, I got mine, it's pretty bad. So I logged into the portal and I thought it was gonna be worse. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it's still bad. So to give you guys an update, I moved in to this apartment. I took someone else's lease. My apartment was going for $2,400 a month in a very desirable zip code of Manhattan. I basically took over their lease and signed for $2,200 at a discount because I moved at the height of the pandemic. When their lease was up a couple months later, I re-signed for $1,700. So $500 off. I knew when my lease came up to renewal that it was gonna jump back up to COVID prices. I was not shocked on that. I've been hearing people talk about how it's gone up over $1,000 and all this stuff. So long story short, I've been kind of like unhappy with the apartment because it is slanted, it's old, and I just feel like for how much I'm paying, I could be getting more space. That's kind of hard though if I like want to stay in the West Village or Soho. Definitely not Tribeca, like, girl please. That's not gonna happen. So then I got really upset because now I have to move funds around. I will say like I am very privileged that with my full-time job, I can afford the rent. It's just whether or not I can justify that it's worth it at that price. So it kind of came down to 3 parts, which was basically 1, pay the rent. Okay, except like that's a new rent price because there's no inventory, so landlords are able to charge crazy amounts. 2, I was thinking about moving out, putting all my stuff in storage or selling all of it and being a digital nomad and trying out different cities for each month, like Airbnb, and then coming back to New York in the wintertime when rent prices are hopefully not as crazy. The downside with that is it's cost probably $2,000 to move out, like take all this stuff out. It's gonna be $400 a month to put it in storage, and then I'm gonna have to pay that again to move back in. So I don't know if I like that. And also like I'm a creature of a routine, and I think being out of routine and being inconsistent with a new city and stuff is not gonna be good for my mental health. But like I constantly romanticize of like the past, or I romanticize about the future because I like to blame other things as to why I'm not happy, like my dating situation, being alone, not having more friends, all that stuff, which is not going to be solved if I like run off to London or a month or Paris. Again, very privileged to have that option. I understand. The third one is straight up just move to another city. At this point, I'm not in my 20s anymore. In my 20s, I moved to like 4 different cities, and I'm just tired of starting over. I'm tired of like having to like restart in a community and like restart like all the things that I like my nail salon, my hair salon, where I go for my dog, like my doctor, all that stuff. Like restarting is really hard, and I'm 30 now and I don't want to do that anymore. Like I want to put roots somewhere. And the only place that I would consider putting roots is in San Diego, where I'm originally from. But I have some fears and like cons with all that stuff. So I really recommend, one, going to therapy so you're more self-aware, but two, writing down like a list of what you want in life to see if it attracts or like manifests with what you have. And then the second thing that I would do is put like what you like, the pros and cons, don't like, and then what are your fears with each situation. So what I want in my life is I want to be in an area that's a healthy lifestyle, a walkable city, career opportunities, dating opportunities, community, friendship, close to my family or be able to build a family in, a large kitchen, which I know is like funny, and a peaceful, quiet environment, which probably isn't going to happen in downtown New York. The thing I love about New York is I have the freedom and creativity to dress however the I want. I can be ridiculously in a pink fur coat if I want, or just be in athleisure. Like in other cities, I feel like people judge you for that. There's also fun, exciting events, restaurants, culture, the arts, architecture, history, career opportunities. There's so many unique, cool, fun people here. It's a walkable city. People are open-minded. But what I also don't like about New York is the cost of living. I feel like there's a lack of a friend group or community here, which honestly is my fault. Also, it's hard to date. I keep dating the wrong people, which is my fault too. And I always feel like an outsider looking in because I feel lonely, but those are all my like inner insecurities, like with social anxiety and stuff, and like not feeling like I fit in a group. We'll get into that later. My fears about New York is that I'll always be alone. I'll never find love. I'll be a constant outsider looking in. And also guilt of like not being near my parents as they're getting older. The pros of like, let's say if I go back to San Diego to put in roots is it's like chill vibes there. I grew up surfing and like having access to the ocean is like always a plus. Also, like, it's not a grind. It's easier life there. I'll be closer to my mom and dad. It's an 8-hour drive to the Bay. It's a 2-hour flight. I love burritos. Like, I just love the food there, and I'd have a bigger apartment. I'd just be more comfortable. But the cons there is that honestly, the rent is the same. Like, you guys, rent in Denver, Texas, South Florida, California, Arizona, they all have a 2 in front of it. And then to add on to that, I would have to like put in the cost of owning a car. So like $300 for car insurance, $300 for gas, parking, car registration. It's like $1,000 added to that. So like you're not really saving money. Also, less career opportunities. I have a freaking channel on TikTok about New York. Like, are you guys gonna ditch me? Comment below, I don't know. Also, I feel like my friends back there are like from my previous chapters, and like, I feel like it's really important of who you surround yourself with, and I don't wanna take a step back. I feel like there's a lack of community there too. Like, I would technically have to start over, and my family technically isn't there, and like, I just don't like the bro culture and like the architecture of San Diego, if that makes sense. So my fears of San Diego moving there would be starting over, my channel crashing, my TikTok crashing, FOMO of not being in New York, like regretting my decision, taking a step back, and then feeling like I'm not growing, like I'm being complacent. So I talked to my therapist about this. I just got off the phone with her, finished crying all of last night. Didn't have a drink, proud of myself. She was like, why don't you set roots? Why don't you just set roots in New York? So I was thinking about it, because you guys should think about this too sometimes. Like, it actually might make more sense for me to buy a condo, an apartment in New York City, than go through the ups and downs of unpredictable rent prices. I would lock in how much it would be. I have 20% down. And I would be able to create roots, but the fear of that is I don't know if like I always have this vision, like when you're buying a house, it's gonna be like white picket fence, like the beautiful like 2-floor house with a 2-car garage. Like I never thought it would be like a crappy little studio in New York City in a walk-up. But my therapist was saying like, no, you just like buy it, and worst case scenario, you just sell it a year later. And then I was on like websites last night, and I was looking, and like someone bought a 2-bedroom in Williamsburg for $200,000. It's on the market right now for $510,000. So that got me thinking, like, why don't I just buy? It makes more sense because after all the like fees, HOA, taxes, and all that stuff, it would be basically how much I'm paying for rent, and it would be mine. And I wouldn't have to worry of every year like, oh, I have a rent increase, or like they're controlling how I paint the walls, or like I can't put a washer and dryer like underneath my kitchen sink. I don't know. Whatever it is. So what I'm doing right now, obviously I want to negotiate with my landlord and see if there's something that we can work out, because I don't really know if I can buy a condo like that soon, because I have to let them know by April 2nd. So maybe they'll let me do a month-to-month thing. I'm not really sure. If you guys are watching, I don't know if my landlord was watching, but if you are, like, help me. So that's where I'm at. I thought I'd give you guys an update. I'm sorry that I missed an upload. Things happen. I've been crazy. But the good news is, like, we're going to have a lot of apartment moving topics. I want to, like, go around and look at other apartments, like, maybe in the Upper East Side, because prices there are kind of decent still. And see what else is out there. And I'll take you guys with me so we can check this out. We can, like, go through it together through this entire buying experience. So if that's what you're interested in, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, because then it'll notify you if new videos are coming out. And thanks for coming. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.